the dharana siddhi, concentration, the binding of deep consciousness awareness to one place, object, or idea until all aspects are revealed. We have hints of that in remote viewing, by the way. Do we not? There's the dhyana siddhi, a type of non-objective meditation or contemplation which releases you from the more undesirable lokas, such as matter, entanglements, and desires and passions. And then there's the samadhi siddhi. You have to work to attain these, you see. The balanced state to hold together completely, being one with, so as to attain unities of deep perceptions. Samyama. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, samyama, which transcends the plane of consciousness directly focused on gross physical matter only. Do you think this is not going to be rediscovered maybe 100 years from now? Because we have all of these interpenetrating universes confirmed by science. Okay, there are also the cities that reflect Sanskrit knowledge of telepathy, of precognition, of clairvoyance and traveling clairvoyance, which was a term that was replaced simply by clairvoyance, and the traveling part of it got lopped off, and it got to be conceptualized in the recent 30 years as out-of-body travel. You see why I had to bring notes? Sutra 3.37 identifies activities which awaken via samyama, spontaneous intuition that functions without conscious reasoning. So if you're walking along a cliff and your body stops without conscious reasoning, you take 3 steps back, what has gone on in your motor cortex? It takes the motor cortex to stop the body walking. It takes the motor cortex to move any motion at all. So the motor cortex has taken over because it or something like it sensed danger that you're too stupid up here to realize, and just move the body back without any conscious reasoning. This was known back in Sanskrit times, and I propose that it might have been known back 300,000 years ago when physical life was really tough, and the human species began to develop these life-saving intuitions and so forth. As a matter of fact, I'm told the American Indian nations still have terms for those. So, I mean, they do go back, they predate Sanskrit. Parasita, the city Parasita, knowledge of others' mental image pictures. What does that mean in our English? What? Mind? Speak up. Mind reading, right. Parasita. The actual whole word is Patya Yasha Parasita Janaman. Is that right? You. I don't blame you. Yeah, the knowledge of others' mental image pictures is obtained via this city. We refer to that as mind reading or telepathy, right? What is the most hated of the superpowers or the cities? Which one? Telepathy. Nobody wants their minds read. Do you want your mind read? Yeah. Here's a copy of the New York Times. For Tuesday, January 2006, January 10th. Can you read it? Cells that can read minds. These cells were discovered in about 1996 by two Italian researchers examining the prefrontal cortex of the brain in macaque monkeys. And they began to notice that macaque monkeys could look at each other and then get mutually excited about something and so forth. And they found the firing cells in the premotor cortex of the brain. The odd thing was that the one monkey who had an intention that the second monkey didn't like was transmitted somehow from the first monkey to the second monkey, or vice versa. But the same cells were firing in both brains, exactly the same patterns. So the premotor cortex was duplicating what was going on, and for that reason they didn't quite call them telepathy yet. They called them mirror neurons. This monkey's premotor cortex was mirroring what was going on here, and then they gave a definition for it. What was being exchanged was the intentions and motives of the first monkey to the second monkey. The mind reading of intentions, I say intentions and motives, yes. There's a reading, I get a little excited over this because this is one of the biggest jokes in history. The reading of another's mind, motivations and intentions is the formal definition of telepathy. Telepathy is in because these things have been confirmed in humans too. And the definition is the capacity to read others' intentions and motives. And this is the fundamental definition of telepathy. Do you like that? Do you know why this is going to change everything? If these interpenetrating things, it's going to take a while for this to be worked out. But telepathy now has a physical basis that science had denied that it did have. And now that it's a physical basis, in the materialistic science, it makes it a legitimate phenomenon. Who's going to study it?
Scientists, using the scientific method.
Oh yeah. I can name you 7 intelligence organizations that are going to be dumping money into telepathy research. Shall we start with our own? The CIA, DIA, the Mossad, MI6, well, MI5 too. Do you think they're going to, you see, remote viewing got started because they thought the Soviets had something like this, and Washington finally said, well, we'd better do something about it because if they get ahead of us, then we're going to have a problem. That was the basic funding issue for when remote viewing got started in the 1970s during the Cold War. Now, do you think that a lot of people are going to say, well, let them do it? I wanted to talk a little bit about the future. I could say more. Like, can the motor cortex be trained? I have a nice little thing here. Do you know what the motor cortex is? It's right up here, by the way. The premotor cortex is just in front of it. Do you know what else this is up here? The prime chakra, yes. Which extends through the auras. I'm going to read you a definition of the motor cortex, which you probably haven't ever heard of. Motor phenomena are regarded as necessary in all mental processes. Whatever